We did this together last week, correct? All right, I'm going to quickly go through and talk about it. Please stop the talking. Who can tell me why this one is opening upward?
It's positive.
Because it is positive. Why is this one opening downward? Because it is negative. All right. Vertex, -2, -3. Could you also get that from the opposite of the inside? Outside stays the same. Yes? All right, opens up. Is the domain always all rails for us in this class?
Yes.
Range. Why is y greater than equal to? Because the graph is opening up. And from what y value? -3. Is the range always going to be the y value? Not the x value. Right? Because range is the set of all y values in your function. This is the lowest point. It's from -3 upward. All right, listen. Line of symmetry. Do you agree this line of symmetry is x equals -2?
Yes.
All right. Could we also get that from the x value, the vertex, or the opposite of the inside?
Yes.
Always going to work. All right. Is this vertex a max or a min? Minimum. All right. On the same graph. Hurry up, please. How did I get this? Opposite, same, right 4, up 2. Do you guys agree? And it's down because it's negative. Vertex, opposite, same, is 4, 2. Maximum is always the y value. When it says the maximum value, what is the y value here? 2. Domain, what did we say earlier? The domain's always going to be what for us in this class? What is the domain going to be for us for a parabola? All real numbers. Range. Why was it less than equal to? Because the parabola is opening down. And what's the y value that it opens down from? 2. Less than or equal to 2 because that's the highest y value. Do you see that? All right. Line of symmetry. What's this line of symmetry here? What's this line of symmetry here? X equals 4. Is 6 -6 a solution? How did we do this? What did we do with the 6? We plugged it in, and did it come out to be -6? It did. And then you guys plugged some other points in on your own. You plugged in 0, you got an answer. You plugged in 1, you got an answer. Questions? Questions? All right. I am moving on. Next one. Guys, I need you to stop, please. Whoever has that music on needs to turn it off because I can hear it all the way up here. Turn it off. Bless you. All right. 0, -5. Did anybody finish it off?
0, -5.
2 was negative. Nobody did it? -8. 1 is 0. -1. Please stop the talking. -2. -3. And -4. And you get these by plugging in the x values one at a time. Can anybody tell just by looking at this what the vertex is?
0 and -8.
0, -8. I heard 1, -9. Who said 1, -9? Okay, can you tell us how you figured that out looking at the chart? Because it looks like the vertex, like it's the lowest, because then it goes up and up and up and up from that point.
Right.
Do you guys see that? All right. There's 2 more in there, I thought. Guys, there's another formula. Hold on, Aaron. Hello, Mrs. Torres. Yes. Oh, no. Not I do have them this period, but not here today. Why? Here. No. You said comments, not comments or something. No. No, he's not.
I know you called.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
Can you remind me when it's 11:30? I gotta go.
Probably not. Is Natalie not here today?
Oh, okay.
I know I'm gonna forget, that's why I said that. I wasn't trying to be mean. Natalie's not here? All right. Hurry, please. Guys, please stop the talking. I need you listening. Gentlemen, enough distraction. Please stop. All right, taking a look. Shh. Guys, I want to review with you another formula to find the vertex really quick, just so you know it for the final. I had a question, what formulas do we need to know besides the ones I'm giving to you? You need to know how to do quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared
Oh wait, I wasn't paying attention.
minus
4AC.
4ac all over 2a. Listen, gentlemen, you'll need to know that one. You'll need to know this one here. The other formula to find the vertex is using the LOS formula, which is negative b over 2a.
Wait, that's the axis.
Dylan, is this his stuff right here? Right here. And nobody touch it. Thank you. All right. Shh. Guys. Were you here Friday? No. Were you here today? When did I say it today, or was it Friday?
Friday.
Okay. Were you here Friday? Okay. Shh. Guys. I already said that, you guys. Okay. Line of symmetry. This formula will not be given to you. I'm only giving you the area, volume, type formulas. This will not be given to you. Should you know the line of symmetry formula is negative b over 2a?
Are you gonna have the name of the formulas?
Good question.
I think that makes more sense rather than
I will. Only because I didn't tell you ahead of time that I wouldn't, and that's not fair. Yes.
So like,
Shh.
why can't it just be like the SAT? Have all the formulas?
Because it's not the SAT.
But it could be.
All right.
It's harder.
Shh. Guys. All right. Vertex. Let's get practice with this negative b over 2a. So negative, what's negative b in this case if b is already negative? Positive 2 over 2 times what is a? Gentlemen, stop the goofing around and pay attention. Positive 2 over 2, what does x come out to be? 1. And then how do we find, do you remember what we do with the x equals 1 and the original function, where is it at? To find the corresponding y value. I heard somebody say it. Plug it in. So you plug in 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 8. Can you guys do that work really quick? Focus. 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 8. Phones are put away. So what does it come out to be? Negative 9. Now let's look at what the vertex Serena gave us. Is it the same vertex?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Why do you want to know this? Because if you didn't have to fill in the chart, what's quicker, the chart or the negative b over 2a? Okay, this one asked you for the chart, so you had to fill it in. But on the test, if I ask you for the vertex and you're like, I don't know what it is, let me do the chart. Do you agree it's easier to do negative b over 2a? And plug it in. So is this a formula you need to know that's going to help you?
How do you solve to get the vertex?
I just did it right here. That's what I was just saying. You do negative b over 2a.
So that's the formula?
That's it, right here. This is for the line of symmetry. And then Nathan said you plug it in. All right, plug it back into the original. Okay, what is the line of symmetry then? We found it right here. X equals 1. All right, explain how to get the line of symmetry from the equation. Let's do it the way we did here. What was the formula? X equals negative. What's the formula? X equals? Thank you. Negative b over 2a, and then we do what? Plug it in. All right. This way's the easiest way. If you have to fill in the chart, then use the chart. If you do not have to, negative b over 2a is a lot easier. All right. Questions at all on any of this? Okay. 1, negative 9. I do realize it's off the graph. 2, negative 8. 0, negative 8. Negative 1, negative 5. What else had a negative 5? 3. Yes, please turn. Who has that on? Off, or I'm taking it away. Everybody needs to get their earbuds out of their ears. Turn your music off. Enough already. Take them out. Take them out.
That song goes hard though.
Okay, that's fine. But the song going hard is not going to help you on your final. What?
You can't hear mine.
Okay, but I still don't want them on. I don't want you listening to it. Don't. Okay. Shh. All right. Okay, so make your parabola if you haven't done it already. And I want to talk about how to find your x-intercepts. Adam, they better be put away. All right. X-intercepts. Keyword for x-intercepts is, anybody remember? I'm going to show you this paper really quick because you do need to know it for the final. When you're looking for the minimum or maximum, what's the key word? Vertex form. Which one here is vertex form? A, B, or C? C. When you hear the word zeros or x-intercepts, what's the key word? Factored form, double bubble. Which one's factored form here? B. When you see y-intercept, keywords are standard form. Which one's standard form here? A. You do need to know that for the final. Stop the talking. So right here when it says x-intercepts, what was a key word there? X-intercepts means what? Factored form. So what are we going to do to this? Factor. We are going to get that practice. I set 0 in for y. I'm factoring x squared minus 2x minus 8. It actually gives us the double bubble right here. X and x. Is this one that if we wanted to, we could use the x factor method on it? Yes. Why? Why can I use the x factor method? Because the leading coefficient is 1. Question? What meeting? Okay, let's see it. All right. Can you guys give me the numbers? What does it factor to?
Negative 4 plus 2.
Negative 4, positive 2, x minus 4, x plus 2. Does everybody agree? Yes? All right. So when you solve these and you set them equal to 0, oh, actually, what are my zeros? They're right here. What are they? 4, 0, and negative 2, 0? 4, 0, negative 2, 0. How are these related? These are the factors, x minus 4, and my 0 is positive 4.
Because if you set them to 0.
Good. If you set them to 0 and solve, they become the same or the opposite? There's no more. Sorry. They become the same or the opposite?
Opposite.
The opposite. All right. She said if you set them equal to 0, I'm going to do that now. X minus 4 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. Can you guys do that in your head? When you add this, what do you get as a solution?
4 negative 2.
X equals 4, comma, what do you get over here? Negative 2. Now, just because you put a comma, does that mean there's an ordered pair around it?
No.
There's no parentheses. It's not an ordered pair. 4, 0, negative 2, 0. It's the opposite of your factors. And Marita told us why. You set them equal to 0 and solve, and it becomes the opposite. And then, no plugging in. It's just there. Okay, y-intercept. What was the key word here for y-intercept? It was what?
Standard form.
So which one should I use? The factored form or the standard original form? Now look how easy this is. I'm going to put y equals, and I'm going to plug 0 in for all my x's. 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 8. Do you have a pass? 0 squared minus 2 times 0 Hello, Mrs. Torres. Tristan's 19. Hasty. I don't know what room that is. Hasty. Uh-huh. They're not. Bye-bye. All right. Okay. Taking a look. So you plug in zeros. Can anybody do that in their head without doing any work? 0 minus 8. What do we get? Do you see why earlier when it says what's the easiest form to find the y-intercept, we said it was standard form? Yes or no? What would the y-intercept be on this one? Easy, just 0, 0 plus 15. What would it be? What's the y-intercept here? Come on, guys. What's the y-intercept here? Do you agree it's 15?
Yeah.
All right. Questions?
No.
Okay. The standard form of a parabola is this. It is best to reveal the value of what? We just talked about it. The what?
Y-intercept.
The y-intercept. The factored form, we talked about this one as well. Factored form is this. This is best to reveal the what?
X-intercept.
Thank you. Now,
Wow.
Wow. Great job.
I thought that was on you.
okay. No one's judging. X-intercepts. Guys, take a look. We answered this one last week, and I did not talk about it yet. Do you see the one at the top? The descriptive form of a parabola, this one right up here. The descriptive form of a parabola is best to reveal, we already have the answers there. What are they? Max and min. Do you guys agree?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so we have all of them. Vertex form for the max and min. Standard form, where's the standard form? Standard form for the y-intercept and factored form for the x-intercepts. You do need to know that. All right, sketch R of x is x squared. Because there's no translation right and left, Connor, put that away, please. Because there's no translation right or left, what is the vertex for this one right here? There's no right-left movement. There's no up-down movement. What's the vertex?
0, 0.
0, 0.
Yeah.
And which way is it opening? Up. And then this translation here, the arrow with the x plus 3 and the y minus 2, which way am I translating? From the origin, what is the x plus 3 going to have me do?
Right, left, 3.
Right 3, right? It's not opposite because this is just regular translation. So what am I going to do?
Right, 3.
Right 3 and
Down 2.
down 2. And it didn't say to reflect or make wider or thinner, so it's opening up in the same direction, same width. What is the equation for this t of x? Y, I'm going to put it, actually I'll put t of x, equals parentheses squared. What's going to go inside the parentheses? I want you thinking really hard. When we do the parentheses, is the inside where we do the opposite? Is this where we do the opposite? Opposite of the inside, outside stays the same. So if I went right 3, should I put x minus 3 or x plus 3? Minus 3, because this is where we do the opposite. Outside stays the same. If I went down 2, what would I put on the outside? Okay, I'm going to cover this. Right here, if I said, what's your vertex? What would you say? Opposite, same. What would you say? 3, negative 2. And is that indeed the vertex right here?
Yeah.
Do you guys see how that worked? Going backwards. Yes? Okay, it's been a while since we've talked about increasing and decreasing. So, it's asking us to use the original function, the one in pencil. We had a right half and a left half from the vertex. Do you agree? The vertex is the point at which it changes from increase to decrease or decrease to increase. Yes or no?
Yes.
The vertex is where it changes, in this case, from decrease to increase.
Yes.
Yes, Dakota, put those away. I've already asked the whole class to put them away. Put whatever you're messing with away and work with us on the packet. All right. So, I'm going to do, and you guys said yes, it was at the vertex, and that x value right there is 0. That's where these 2 zeros are coming from. Yes, Jaden? Yes, you may. All right, I'm going to look at the left half. Is that from left to right, is that walking uphill or downhill?
Downhill.
Increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Right side, is that uphill or downhill? Increase or decrease? Now, we've talked about left side and right side. When you go to the left on a number line, are you getting greater or smaller? Less than or greater than? And when you're going to the right, it is greater than. So it is decreasing when x is less than 0, and it is increasing when x is... Do you agree the one in orange would still be decreasing on the left and increasing on the right? What's the only thing that would change is the x value. What is this x value right here? 3. So these zeros would become 3. X is less than 3. X is greater than 3. Yes?
On a graph, like a straight line, wouldn't it like intersect each other eventually on a parallel line? I'm asking like a separate question.
On a straight line, it would only be increasing or decreasing or constant. It would not be doing both if it's linear. It's either always increasing or always decreasing. All right, this next one, I do want to emphasize how important this is because key word here is average rate of change. On the test, when we had this on the test and when we had this on homework, we always had a T-chart that we would fill in before we did it. Is there a T-chart on here?
No.
Will there be a T-chart for you to fill in on the final? No. So, keyword here, average rate of change. What is the formula? It's very much like the slope. I'll start you off. Thank you.
X2 minus X1.
Thank you. Where's Navarrete? Do you have your packet out?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here is what you do. 2 blank, 5 blank. That's what I would have done anyway if I had a T-chart to fill in. 2 blank, 5 blank. Since I don't have a T-chart, I'm going to just plug it in. There's only one function here, h of x. Plug in 2, what's 2 squared? 4. Plug in 5, what's 5 squared?
25.
And then you plug it into this formula. Do you see that? Cody, turn around. Dakota, can you give me the what minus what? Connor gave us the formula earlier. We just figured out the ordered pairs. So what minus what for the numerator? y2 minus y1. So what would I have? And then in the denominator?
Yeah, 5 minus.
Perfect. And 25 minus 4 is 21, and 5 minus 2 is 3, and that comes out to be 7. All right, next one. We're going to do the same thing, 5 comma blank, 8 comma blank. And we're using the same function because they've only given us one. So plug it in. We already did this one earlier. What's 5 squared?
25.
And then you plug in 8, x squared. Now we have 8 squared is? Dylan, did you get your yearbook? That was on your desk. All right. And Dylan, since I've called on you, can you go ahead and give me the numbers? What minus what?
That'd be 64 minus 25 and 8 minus 5.
Does anybody have 64 minus 25?
39.
39 over,
3.
and that does reduce to
13.
13. The average rate of change is different. What does this mean about the graph? When is it increasing at a faster rate? Between 2 and 5 or between 5 and 8? No. Thank you, though. All right, so you would say the function h of x is increasing at a faster rate when x is between 5 and 8. Got it?
How do you know it's increasing, not decreasing?
A good question. It's positive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Questions? All right. Find the solution of x. Now, it's been a while since we've talked about these. Gentlemen, I need you listening. If you remember when we did these, take it out. Thank you. All right, when we talked about these back in Unit 12A, I told you guys back then if there is only one x, you are going to isolate and square root both sides. Is there only one x in this problem?
Yes.
So we're going to get x squared by itself. So what do we add to both sides? 18. 2x squared equals 18. What do we divide both sides by? 2. X squared equals what?
9.
And then what do we do to both sides to solve?
Square root.
Square root. Remembering, when we square root both sides of an equation, what goes in the front? Not just 3, it's what? Plus or minus. Do not forget that. When do you do this? When you yourself square root both sides of an equation to solve. If you're solving and it requires you to square root both sides, plus or minus. Is that the question? Okay. All right. Next one. Ahmad. Next one. Tell me what to do. Yes. Perfect. And there's only one x here, so this is where I'm going to isolate and square root. 75 x squared equals negative 48. Go ahead and give me the next step, Ahmad. Before that? Yes. Now, if you did not know, 3 goes into both of those. Can you guys quickly divide top and bottom by 3? And it's going to stay negative. Tell me when you have the numbers. 16 over 25.
Can you put that into a fraction in your calculator?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, what do we do to both sides? Now, 2 things. First, is 16 and 25, are both of them perfect squares? Yes. Because of the negative, what's going to come out once I square root? An I, an imaginary. All right, so let's address the 16 over 25 first. What's the square root of 16?
4.
Square root of 25.
5.
So don't forget your plus or minus. Plus or minus 4/5. And what's next to it? I. Plus or minus because we square rooted both sides. 4/5 because that's the square root of 16 over 25. And I because we were square rooting a negative. Questions on that one? No questions? Where do you see C? Oh, I said it. I didn't write it because I wanted you guys. I said it's increasing at a faster rate when x is between 5 and 8. All right. Next piece. Now, do all of these have 1x or more than 1x? Okay, which means we're not going to isolate like we did the last one. We're not going to square both sides. We're going to factor either GCF or double bubble. Now, remember, if it does not factor, we hope it does, fingers crossed, but if it does not, what's our last resort? X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's one that will not be given to you that you will need to know for the day of the test. Thank you. Sorry. So when you get your, what is it called, bubble sheet tomorrow, flip it over, you write this one down, you write negative b over 2a down, plug it in. Why would you write on your desk when you're getting a bubble sheet to write it on?
Right on your desk before.
I will be checking.
You're gonna check my desk.
I'm checking, like, you know when I come around and check your bubble sheets?
Let's go 8 block light.
I'm gonna brand it on my arm.
All right, we're listening. Shh. Guys. Okay. Don't forget, if it does not factor and you don't want to use this, we also have another method. What is it called? Starts with the C. Complete the square. You don't have to do this. It's only if you want to.
How do you do that one?
I'm going to do one down here. Down here is when I'm going to complete the square to remind you. All right. I'm going to do the first few. I need the talking to stop. First one. There's 3 terms. Is there a GCF? No. It looks like the trinomial guess and check. Do you guys agree? Now, I am going to write the x factor. You do not have to use the x factor. Most of you do not. Some of you do. Why can we use the x factor on this problem? The leading coefficient is 1. So negative 21, negative 4, and you're looking for 2 numbers that multiply and add. Anybody have it?
X, negative 7.
Negative 7 and positive 3. Does that multiply to negative 21? And does it add up to negative 4? Yes or no?
Yeah.
It still equals 0. So x minus 7 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0. Please stop the talking. When you solve, what do you get for this one?
Plus 7.
Positive 7. And this one? Negative 3. Do I put parentheses around it? No. It is not an ordered pair. If you want to write them as an ordered pair, it's 7, 0, negative 3, 0. Those are your 2 x-intercepts. That's what you're looking for when it's set equal to 0. Got it?
And
Is there a question?
Yeah, what unit was it that you did all the X factoring? So like
11 was where we first learned the factoring. Unit 11 had just basic factoring, no equal signs. That's right here. It was all the factoring stuff. So if you look back at your notes, online notes, it's Unit 11. Unit 12 is where we had it equal to 0 and we solved. All right, next one.
On that one, you've done minus 21.
We could not add 21 and then do all that stuff because there's multiple x's. The only time we get x by itself in square root is when there's how many x's? 1. Because there's multiple x's, we have to factor. Or complete the square or quadratic formula. All right, next one. Is there a GCF? 2, 18, 40. 2 comes out. X squared plus what? Come on, guys.
Plus 9.
9x plus 20 equals 0. And then we are going to double bubble on this one. I'm going to cover the 2. What's the leading coefficient inside the parentheses? So is this one where I could use the x factor if I choose to?
Yeah.
Not necessary. For those of you that don't use it, put your phones away. The 2 just tags along, double bubble, bless you. X into X. Figure out your numbers. Can you guys do that now quickly? Anybody have it?
5 and 4. 5
5 and 4 both positive?
Yep.
Does that multiply to, and I put that as -9, but it should be what? Does that multiply to positive 20? Does it add up to positive 9? So x plus 5, x plus 4. Now, oh, and it still equals 0. I had a kid ask, well, what does the 2 do? You set them all equal to 0 and solve as you usually would. I'm going to start with the right-hand side. You add it or you take the opposite. What do you get here?
Negative 4.
-4. Over here you subtract it or take the opposite. What do you get?
-5.
And on the last one, can 2 by itself equal 0? Can 2 by itself equal 0? Do you guys agree it cannot? If it was 2x, could it equal 0?
Yeah.
If it was 3x, could it equal 0? If it's a constant by itself, can it equal 0?
No.
No, cross it out. These are your only two solutions. Which makes sense because we've talked about degree before. What's the degree here? 2, and that tells you the number of solutions. I should not have more than 2 solutions. Got it? Okay. I want to do E or F. I'll do F. Okay. In order to factor or use quadratic, yes. Okay. On D, what about the 2? We set it equal to 0, but 2 by itself can never equal 0, so I just crossed it out. It doesn't have any, so that impact, does 2 by itself have any impact on our answer? No, not at all, because it's a constant, it's by itself. There are no more. I'm sorry. All right, we're good? Letter F. Now, you said it earlier. What do I do? Add the 10 over, right? Because I want it to equal 0. 3x squared plus 17x plus 10 equals 0. Now, you have choices. Try to factor. Try to factor because that's what I like to do first. But some kids will look at this and be like, oh, it's guess and check. I don't want to factor. I'm going to go straight to quadratic. Is that okay? Why is this the harder guess and check, not the X factor method? Can anybody tell me? Because the leading coefficient is not 1. What are the factors of 3, by the way? That's nice. It's only 1x and 3x. I don't have a lot of guessing there. What other factors do I take? 17 or 10? 10. And what are the factors of 10?
1 and 10.
Or?
2 and 5.
And you decide, oh, this is nice. My last sign being positive, that's nice because that means my two signs are the same. And my front sign, my neighbor tells me that they are both positive. So I don't have to guess plus minus or minus plus. All right, figure out, is it 2, 5, 5, 2, 1, 10, 10, 1? Does anybody have it?
5, 2.
5, 2. And how do we check it?
Your smiley face.
The smiley face. Good job. 5 times 3x is 15x. This is 2x. And does it add up to the middle?
Yeah.
Yep, and there's our smiley face. We're super happy. Now, typically in Unit 11, I would stop here, but I'm solving, so what do I have to do with each parenthesis? Set them equal to?
0.
0. X plus 5 equals 0, and 3x plus 2 equals 0. Can anybody do this one in their head? Negative 5. Can anybody do this one in their head? Subtract and divide? You do that in your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys see she got negative 2/3. If you don't like it, can you show your work? 3x equals negative 2. Divide. X equals negative 5, comma, negative 2/3. All right. I'm going to let you guys finish the E, G, and H on your own using the method we did here or quadratic if factoring does not work. It looks like, I can tell right here, it looks like factoring's not going to work right here. Did anybody catch that?
Yeah.
Did anybody try it? It doesn't factor. If you try and you do 1x and 2x, and that's the only possibility, Does it work?
No.
2 and 1? No. So you're forced to complete the square, which I would not suggest, because that's 2 and that's 5. Don't complete the square. What are you forced to do? Quadratic. So you can do that one later on your own. What is A, B, and C? What is A?
2.
What is B?
5.
And what is C? All right. I'm going to move on. Are you guys okay if I jump down here to go over complete the square with you guys? Yes?
Okay, can you do just like, I forgot, can you do A super fast?
72, you break it down into 9 and 8. And 9 is 3 and 3. And 8 is what? 2 and 4. And 4 is, how many 2's do I have? And how many 3's? And what is coming out? Is there 2 sets coming out? 2 and a 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to leave a space. What's left in? Root 2, and I left a space for the I, or 6 root 2I if you like to write it that way. All right. I do want to do this down here. I will tell you on C and D, they're both what? Double distribution. Don't forget, please, I forgot to tell my last class, I squared is what? -1. Kids often ask, well, what's I? I is just I. You don't change I. I stays I. I squared is the one you change to the -1, which would happen on this one here. All right, complete the square. X squared minus 4x minus 6 equals 0. Yes?
Okay, so I2, or I squared is equal to -1, and then I is -1.
I is just I. No, I, we leave I. You do not change I. You see it? 6I root 2. It stayed there.
So that's equal to -6.
It's equal to the square root of -1. We never write it that way, but that's what I equals. And that's because of the negative in here, that's where the I is coming from. Okay, so when you're working with a problem and you have I as part of your answer, do you leave it there? Yes, yes you do. If you have I squared as part of your answer, do you leave it there? No, no you do not. -1. All right, guys, stop. So taking a look here, what am I going to add to the other side? The 6. This is the complete the square process. I really wish I had done B instead, but it's okay. X squared minus 4x, this is where I put the plus blank, equals 6 plus blank. Why do I have a blank on each side? Because there's an equal sign, I need to keep it balanced. What do we do with the middle number, the -4? We cut it in half and squared. What's -4 divided by 2? And what's -2 times -2? And what I add to one side, I must add to the other. Double bubble this. 6 plus 4 is 10. And it's minus minus. Can anybody give me the two numbers? -2. Can I write that as quantity squared? It's the whole reason we do this. So what goes in the square here? X minus 2. And outside? 10. And then it asks you to solve. How would I solve this? I'm going to solve this one since this one looks a little wonky. How would I solve this? What would I do to both sides? Square root, square root. X minus 2 because the square root and the square undo each other. What do I put in front of the square root? And there's no negative, so there's no I coming out. Does 10 break down into any factors that can come out? Any pairs? No, it's just 2 and 5. What's the last step?
You add 2.
And they're not like terms, so how do I write the final answer? Positive 2 plus or minus root 10. 2 plus or minus root 10. Questions? Do you guys want me to start this one off?
Yes.
X squared, or do you guys want me to double distribute up here? Since I did it.
If it's like up there, it has 2 x's, but it still has 2 x's.
Yes, but it was specific. It wants us to complete. It specifically told us which method to use. You could have if you wanted to. I could complete the square on C. I wouldn't do it on D. You could, but I wouldn't. I would have done it here.
I tried to do it on C, but it
It does. Do you want me to show you? Guys, You should be finishing up the packet if you haven't done it already. The question was to complete the square on letter C.
Will you be here after school?
After school, not today. No, I have a graduation I'm going to.